I need to show you something I carry every day. I'm 85 years old. I wear 2 watches, both from my father. One I've worn every day for 55 years. The other I refused to touch for 34 years. It belonged to my brother Thomas. He died thinking I hated him. I did hate him for being braver than me. I'm 85 years old. I need to tell you what I did. What fear does when you dress it up and call it principle. What happens when you choose a dead man's approval over your living brother? Wait, I'm lying to you already. I didn't hate Thomas. I loved him. That was the problem. I loved him, and I was terrified of what that love would cost me. See, hatred is easy. Hatred doesn't ask you to change. Love asks you to become someone different than your father taught you to be. I couldn't do it. So I called my cowardice something else. I called it faith. I called it protecting the family. I called it standing by my values. What they don't tell you about principles is how convenient they are, how they let you do terrible things and still sleep at night. My father taught me that men don't bend, that what's wrong is wrong, that God's law comes before everything, even blood. And the church, the neighborhood, everyone nodded along. In 1989, when a gay man got sick, we all knew what it meant. AIDS, death. And a lot of men my age, we had permission to turn away, permission to say it was about morality when really it was about fear. Fear that loving him meant everything we'd been taught was a lie. I chose my father's ghost over my brother's life. That's what principle gave me permission to do. November 12th, 1989. Sunday dinner at my house on Belmont Street in Dibon. Dorothy made pot roast. Thomas came alone, like always. He was 37 years old. We ate. We talked about the tigers, about the weather. Then Dorothy cleared the plates and brought out apple pie. Thomas didn't touch his. He took a breath, like he was going underwater. He said, "I have something to tell you both. I'm gay. I have a partner. His name is Michael. We've been together 3 years." The clock on the wall ticked. Dorothy reached for his hand. I stood up. My chair scraped back. I said things I can't repeat here. Things about God, about our father rolling in his grave, about what the neighbors would think, about disease and sin and the family name. Thomas sat there and took it. He didn't yell back. He just looked at me. Then he stood up, his pot roast still on the plate, one bite missing. He walked out. Dorothy cried. I told her Thomas made his choice. That was the last time Thomas sat at my table. There are 3 moments I can't take back. First, May 1990, 6 months after the dinner. The phone rang. I was under the hood of my Ford Galaxy, transmission trouble. Thomas said, "Walt, I'm sick." In 1990, when a gay man said he was sick, you knew. It meant AIDS. It meant dying. He said, "I need my brother." I looked at my hands, covered in grease. I told him I was busy. I had a transmission to rebuild. I hung up. I chose a car over my brother. I chose grease and metal over his life. Second, April 14th, 1991. A man named Michael called. He said, "This is Thomas's partner. Thomas died this morning. He talked about you at the end, Walt. He said he forgave you. He wanted you to know he forgave you." I said, "Thank you for calling," and hung up. The funeral was April 18th. I told Dorothy I couldn't get time off from Ford. That was a lie. I had vacation days saved. I didn't go. I let my brother go into the ground without me standing there. Third, a week after the funeral, a box came in the mail. Inside was a watch. The same watch my father gave Thomas at high school graduation in 1970. Dad gave me the same watch that same day, matching watches for his two sons. I've worn mine every single day for 55 years. The note from Michael said, "He wanted you to have this. He never stopped loving you." I put that watch in my dresser drawer. I didn't wear it. I didn't look at it. For 34 years, it sat in that drawer, untouched, like Thomas. You got somebody you cut off? Somebody whose life you decided was wrong? You tell yourself it's about your beliefs, about your values, about what you were raised to think is right. I told myself that for 34 years. That's not principle. That's cowardice with a nice coat of paint on it. I was afraid that if I loved Thomas the way he was, I'd have to admit my father was wrong. Afraid of what the guys at the plant would say. Afraid of what it meant about me. So I let him die alone in San Francisco while I sat in Dearborn polishing my principles. You doing that to someone right now? Somebody waiting for your call? Last year, my granddaughter Lily helped me find Michael online. He's 72 now, lives in Ann Arbor. I drove there alone. We met at a Starbucks. I didn't know what to say. He showed me pictures on his phone. Thomas laughing, Thomas at the beach, Thomas alive and happy in ways I never got to see. Michael said he never stopped hoping you'd come around, Walt. He talked about you until the morphine took his words. I cried right there in that Starbucks. People stared. I didn't care. Then Michael reached across the table. He handed me a small box. He said, "I've been carrying this for 34 years, waiting for you." Inside was a watch, Thomas's watch, the real one. I said, "But you sent me his watch in 91. He shook his head. He said, "That was a different watch. Thomas wanted me to keep his father's watch until you were ready, until you came looking. He said you'd come eventually." I didn't believe him, but he was right. I wear both watches now, every single day. My father's gift to both his sons, finally together on my wrists. It doesn't fix anything. Thomas is still dead. I'm still the man who let him die alone. But I'm trying. I'm 85 years old. I've got maybe 5 years left if I'm lucky. I'll die wearing 2 watches, and that's the closest I'll ever get to having my brother back. Don't do this. Don't make my mistake. Don't let someone die waiting for you to be brave enough to love them. Whatever you were taught, whoever told you that principle matters more than people, they were wrong. I was wrong. My father was wrong. Call them today, not tomorrow, not when you thought about it more, now. Because 34 years goes by faster than you think, and you can't apologize to a grave. Thomas forgave me before I ever asked, but I have to live the rest of my life knowing I wasn't there when he needed me. Don't wait 34 years like I did. Go now.